Our intro to me today is Marcin Tybura, who fights Sergey Spivac as the headliner of UFC Vegas 95. That fight is on August 10th. So, Marcin, I wanted to start here. Rematches are always kind of a weird thing to deal with because of the familiarity, but also, you won the first fight in this series, right? And pretty handedly, you won every single round. What were sort of your thoughts when the UFC came to you and said, we want to run it back? We want to do this again?
Uh, you know, uh, I thought about it. I have nothing to gain in this rematch, so that was my first thought. But it's but other thoughts was maybe that's the only fight I can get. During this time, during the summer, and maybe for other fights I will have to wait like longer. And I don't like to stay training without the fight, so. I accepted whatever the UFC. I'm trying to be a good workman
I like
and
that.
good employee. And yeah, and if it's fine for me. It's always good to have fights because I see many other fighters who are struggling with get the fights sometimes. So for me it was yeah, let's do it. It's yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I wanted to ask you because you said there's not much to gain in there. You already got the win, but I want to take you back to the first fight a little bit because there was a lot to gain at that time, right? You were 1-4 over your last five fights. You had been kind of struggling to find your footing in the UFC. And then you rebounded from that, beat Spivac, went on a five-fight winning streak, including winning four that year. What kind of part of that fight was sort of the on switch for you? What sort of turned around because of the first fight?
There was a couple of things changed at the time, and I actually moved for Vegas to Vegas to train. The I first time I got there to a performance institute, met all these guys. I work with John Wood, so I actually changed a lot for this fight, and maybe by that I gained some different approach in my head, and this fight just start this different mindset, and that's why this winning streak came from. So that might be it. I don't have any specific that I would be sure of that anything changed, but that's how I see it. And maybe I'm hoping this fight will start another great win streak.
Absolutely. And so, sort of your change from that time to where you are now, different training methods, working with some different people. In watching Spivac as you get ready for the second fight, the second time that you're going to run into him here, what do you feel like has changed about him? Or do you feel like he's kind of the same fighter he was before?
I think he changed a lot too, and I think after our fight, he got a pretty good win streak too. I think, and I actually didn't watch many of his fights like full. I saw because I watched it live the fight with Cyril again, but he lost that one. So in my opinion, what he was actually improved a little bit. His power. I think he's bigger. I'm not sure because I didn't check the weight on the day when we were fighting compared to what's his weight now. But I think as I look at him, I think he's bigger, so probably he's stronger, and that's probably helped him with the game plan that he brings to the fight, which is a little bit more clinching, a little bit more grappling, and stuff like this. So uh, he might be more dangerous in this aspect. I think he got a pretty good submissions yeah, since our fight. So probably that's what he was working on.
For sure, for sure. Now, I did want to take you back to another thing you said in there, which is, trying to make another winning streak out of this, trying to make a run up to the top of this division. And, a win here would make you 4-1 in your last five. The only loss being to the interim champion, Tom Aspinall, the guy everybody's chasing right now. You know, uh, is that on your mind? Getting that fight back, starting to put a run so that you can see Tom again down the road, or obviously we like to take it one fight at a time, but is that in the back of your mind as you begin making this run?
Yeah, totally. That's actually, that's I'm kind of I'm trying to be focused on whatever comes, next, and that's the fight right now. But sure, long distance plans is always to to get as high as possible and get to the title. It's always been on my mind, and whoever is there, of course. And I think Tom will be there for a long time, especially if he will be finishing these fights as he used to. So that is my plan. That for sure is my plan. But this fight, I actually feel like really being, doing this day by day, focusing on being a better fighter, and focusing on winning with Sergey, because it's a completely different fight. I don't think that I won the first fight, so this one should be the same. It's always a different fight. It's a different fighter I'm fighting, because it's been a couple of years too. So it will be a tough match.
And I
Definitely
don't,
thinking about this one.
yeah, and not only is it a different fight because it's been a few years since you guys saw each other, but it's also a different fight because now it's a headliner, right? It's 5 rounds instead of three. How do you feel like that changes your approach to the fight, or does it change your approach to the fight at all?
Actually, it's my third main event in a row, I think. Yeah, so it's pretty impressive. That's actually impressed me too. So it's really fun. I really like it, and it doesn't make any difference for me. If it's a Sergey, and it's a 3 or 5 rounds. I actually like it. I think my cardio is pretty good. For the heavyweight, so I'm not worried about these two additional rounds. And whenever UFC asked me about this main event, I said, yeah, let's do it right away. No problem for me, because when you train, you always go this extra rounds. You never stop because you did three, and that's it. You always go more.
For sure, for sure. Now, I wonder too, though, going into the fight, as you mentioned, you're a guy done a lot of headliners, gone into deep waters a lot of times. Do you feel that that's an advantage you have in this fight over Spivac, being that he is not as seasoned when it comes to doing, those grueling 5 round fights?
I think he got couple, or oh yeah, maybe the serial fight was the
Mhm.
first headliner. Oh yeah, so yeah, maybe that's different. When I saw him fighting Cyril, uh, it's you cannot always tell, because maybe the Cyril was such a good shape at the fight, but Sergey was a little bit overwhelmed with the probably maybe with the French fans who were screaming a lot and stuff like this, but for me, he didn't look like he was, he got in the fight the right way he's supposed to, and got trouble right from the beginning. So that may be it, but that's just my talking. I never go to the fight and see, oh, this is my advantage because he never was in the main event, or he never got 5 rounds, or stuff like this, or he was injured like 2 years ago, and maybe he still feel like a pain in his leg or something like this. Whenever I go to the fight, I see the fighter is ready. He knows what he's coming for, and I'm preparing for the best version of my opponent.
All right. Well, that leads me perfectly to my last question. So you're prepared for the best version of him. What do you predict is going to go down in the headliner come August 7th?
What I predict for me, prediction is like I usually don't like to do it, but I my mindset is go for finish, whatever finish you're I'll be capable of. I will get it. And the longer fight, sometimes it would be maybe more opportunities to get that finish. So I'm just hoping to finish as soon as possible. My last fight was 1 round, and I think for the heavyweight, that's what the fans like. so so I'm really hoping this one finish in a first.
Well, we are
We
looking.
go. Well, I hope we go hard in the first both and finish the business.
Well, we're hoping for that as well. And once again, fans, this has been Marcin Tybura, who fights Sergey Spivac as the headliner, UFC Vegas 95. That fight, once again, August 10th. Marcin, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.